Ooh, what kind of okay, yo, that intro kind of nice. Okay. Okay. Yo, guys, welcome to the Danger Ahead podcast with your boys Duncan and Jared. And today, not much is really going on good with the world. So today we want to talk about why, and we're gonna go back in history with this. Not only go back in history, but we're gonna have to, show a little present here and there. So we're gonna split up. I'm going to go back in history in my little time machine to show you guys why the world sucks. And then Jared here is going to show you guys why it currently sucks. So I'm the build up, he's the end result. And just so everybody's not lost, we're going to alternate, that way you're not going to hear my voice or Jared's voice the whole time. All right. So we're just going to go from there. So, first thing I want to say is we're going to be talking about this current situation with Russia and Ukraine. Right now, man, it seems like everybody wants World War III to happen because here's my issue. Russia is a superpower, right? Same as America, same as China. But they are, in my opinion, an unchecked superpower because every time they do something, they basically say, hey, I dare you to attack us. Fuck around and find out. And it's like everybody in the world is scared. Oh my God, they got so much nuclear bombs. Y'all don't realize what mutual destruction is. Y'all don't realize that. Russia has to, if they're going to use nuclear power, they then have to basically sign that, yeah, we lost. Like this, we don't want what we got now. If I'm gonna go, y'all gonna go with me. That kind of thing. Russia ain't that dumb. I don't even think. Don't get me wrong. Putin hates being wrong, but I don't think he's let me sacrifice my life because I'm wrong type of wrong. I think Kim Jong Un is that type, but he's also narcissistic. Narcissistic people tend to not take themselves along with the ride.
I mean, to be fair, he's all dictators are, but he's also surrounded by yes men who are like, yeah, you can do it. Yeah, there's no one can stop us. Do it. So we got to remember, dictators never have people that are saying, hey man, that might be a bad idea, or maybe we shouldn't do that. Their job is to approve whatever plans that they have, or in some way, shape, or form, no matter how extreme, make it happen, regardless of the consequences. So,
I mean, let's be real. Kim Jong Un is that little kid that wants to play with the big boys,
right?
And we all know that he's that guy. And I feel like China and Russia being their allies, I feel like they're the adults that are like, yeah, they're not really gonna be at that level with us. So we're just there to kind of be like, hey, we got your back, but you like the little brother. We ain't really trying to see you become us. You know what I'm saying? Because if North Korea becomes like them, this whole world's gonna change. Because now you have a full blown dictatorship. Right? I think mostly everywhere in the world, it's like there's still like a council in the community and stuff like that. Even Russia, even though it's Putin, Putin still has advisors. Putin still has a group. Putin, all that stuff. Kim Jong Un got people praying to his picture.
Yep.
Every day. I think twice or 3 times a day. You can't eat. You can't eat. You can't sleep unless you praise his picture. And if somebody finds out you didn't, you're done. You're done.
Jail or execution.
Fire the squad. Options. It's over. So, and it's kind of crazy because in a world like this, it's kind of crazy that there's still a dictatorship. Like, I don't know. I just feel like if there's a dictatorship, like somebody would intervene with that. But I don't know, man. To me, it's just weird. But it kind of shows you as to why is the world so shitty? Like, why is it that Russia can just go, let me invade this country real quick, and everybody's scared of the end result? Why is it that country is small to begin with? Why is Europe always having issues? Why is the Middle East always having issues? Why can't America mind their business? Why is this? Why is that? So today this is why we're going to lead into why the world is the way it is. And I'm going to start it off. So, first thing I want to address to you guys, as most of you may not know, the world was run for centuries by people who are the products of incest, which means they dated or had kids with their first cousins, sisters, uncles, aunts, that type of shit. So they ended up having not so stable offspring. And when they had that not so stable offspring, guess what happened? That offspring ends up on the throne or something like that, somewhere in regards to power. I'm going to use one example of it just to show how bad their lives were, but they still had this utmost power. And it's somebody y'all really, really know. Right? It's somebody that they basically made like, what you call it? Shows about, I think it was like Tuttenstein and all that, right? Tuttenstein was the show. I ain't gonna lie. I forgot, what was it come out? Noggin? I think it came out like Noggin or something. But basically, King Tut, right? The mummy, they say that probably has the most cursed tomb out there. King Tut suffered in life. He was in charge, but he suffered in life. Let me tell you what this guy had, bro. He had a club foot. If y'all don't know what a club foot is, it's the deformity of your foot. You basically can't even walk.
It's like a knuckle, more or less.
It's like it's bad. Like basically, if you even try to walk, you're in pain. A lot of pain. It's like forget skin, forget muscle. You basically walking on bone, low key, right? He had bone necrosis, so forget what I said about bone. He had none, basically. Like his bones were dying. The man couldn't walk. Every time you see these shows and whatnot, and you see him, guess what? Anytime you see a depiction of King Tut, guess what he's doing? Sitting down. It's crazy, right? Okay. Degenerative bone disease. So that shit just kept getting worse. God damn. It just kept getting worse, bro. Oh my God. And then he had malaria.
Damn. Really? God.
Oh my, and he had the most deadly form of the disease, by the way. The most deadly form. Right? And then he had a cleft palate. I forgot what it has something to do with your jaw, doesn't it?
Cleft palate is yeah, it's inside, it's a split.
It's split, okay.
But like if you have that today, that's an easy fix. It's like a real quick surgery.
Yeah.
But back then, yeah, good luck.
Now you're probably thinking to yourself, damn, how did he get all that? I'm gonna show you guys. He got all that because his parents were siblings. He only had one parental grandparent, and they didn't care. A lot of what you see in the world now, all these diseases that you see in the world, is all because people don't give a damn about medical advancement. They will still marry their first cousins and brothers and sisters and aunts and uncles for money.
That's why the royal family over in Europe looks a little bit, a little bit odd. A
little bit, a lot of bit.
And if you don't know, the reason why you don't marry blood is because you start stacking the same genes. And the more you do that, the more that you increase the chance of genetic defects from occurring.
Yep.
The more you do it, the worse it gets.
So just like simple 101. So when you inherit both your mom and your dad's genes, right? So say it's just like something like black hair, right? But then your dad has a recessive gene all the way back in like his lineage of like, great grandparent, and he has like a 1% chance of having blonde hair. What it does is with the mom not having that gene in her system, the likelihood of you having blonde hair decreases a lot more. However, let's say they're siblings now, and they come from the same side of that family. So that 1% of you having blonde hair is now 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 to 6, right? Because the point of your genes connecting is half you, half your dad. So imagine the same genes going, let's double this motherfucker. Pass it over and double it to the next person, right? That's what you're seeing. So instead of blonde hair now, you're thinking about, what's a good hereditary disease that's really common? What would you say?
Hereditary, it's common. I don't remember sickle cell.
Sickle cell
hereditary. Okay.
Sickle cell's hereditary. Sickle cell is actually only hereditary. You can't just get it out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? I think they say some forms of autism is, of course, genetic. Almost everything that's not really viewed as normal is genetic, basically. And then your parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, everybody passes it down. So what kind of happens too is the stability in your body in regards to how you think, how you move, everything like that. Now that's thrown out of whack. So imagine somebody who is the offspring of their grandparents, parents, and great-grandparents all being of the same bloodline, suddenly going, I got the power now. I got the button. Right? You look over at like say we're in Europe right now. We in the 1300s. I'm king, right? My cousin is my aunt and sister and brother at the same time. And I just look over, I'm England, I'm looking over at Spain like, motherfucker, y'all name is Spain? Attack them. Their name shouldn't be Spain, it should be Britain. All right, what is a Spain anyway? Like that's how their mindsets work. They can't think. They don't process. Right? Shout out to King Tut though, because it wasn't your fault. It was your parents' fault because they decided, hey, his sister looked good as the brother. Don't make sense. So I just wanted to just give y'all that as a generalization of the fact that majority of the world was literally run by people of incest, and what made it worse, it was all happening at the same time. So put 2 and 2 together. You had basically incest wars. That's all I'm saying. Right. So that's from the past. Go hit it off to Jared for the current and of course recent.
All right. So everybody knows about North Korea. As we all know, America is chill with South Korea, but we do not like North Korea. So North Korea, as we know, is led by Kim Jong-un, whereas Trump called him a little rocket man because, as we know, they were a couple years ago doing more ballistic tests because they're trying to rapidly develop their own nuclear arsenal. Because everyone knows once you have nukes, you can now come to the table because everyone knows that once you have a nuke, you're a threat to everything. So right now, everyone knows that the general population of North Korea is not in a good state. Now, like we've all seen the videos of like North Korea having like military parades, right? And you'll see the people in the crowds just, yeah, like cheering, losing their shit. They are not doing that because they love their country. They are doing that because if you don't, the secret police are going to roll up to your house and either A, kill you and your family, or B, throw you into one of their prisons. Kim Jong-un is a ruthless dictator. They don't play any games over there. That's why there's so much starvation. That's why there's so much imbalance, because this man has in his mind that his country is the best. So they practice what's known as they're an isolationist country. They don't like to talk to any other countries. They're sticking to themselves. So their only ally, I believe, is China. And that's kind of like Russia right now. So one issue with just, I guess, why they have starvation stuff, when you're an isolationist, that means you really don't have any allies that'll help you out, right? If everyone hates you, no one's going to work with you. So they have resource issues and food issues. That's why there's kind of like there's starvation. They don't have food. There's no medicine issues. And everyone's kind of just freaking out over there. Now, obviously, if you live in a place that's that bad, you can leave. Oh, no, I'm sorry. You want to leave. I'm sorry, you want to leave. But in North Korea, that is not an option. If you want to leave, as soon as you get to the border, you better run your ass off because as soon as the soldiers see you, they're going to try and shoot and kill you. And if they catch you, they're still going to very likely kill you. And if they don't, they're just going to lock you up for the rest of your life. So there's not really winning when you're trying to escape. If you do escape, you go to South Korea and they'll protect you. But other than that, you have literally no option of trying to get out of there. There's a video I remember popping up 2 weeks ago. There was a guy, he had actually escaped from North Korea when he was, I believe, 17. He tried twice. The first time he got caught and they locked him up for like 10 years. And he got out and you're just kind of out in society. And he escaped again, but this time he got away. And people were like, oh my God, I didn't realize it was that bad. And it's like, yes, you don't understand how bad it is over there. It's either play it like Kim Jong-un or die. It's not a good situation.
Did you also know like they planned the assassination of his older brother? Because what happened was a lot of people don't know this. The older brother of Kim Jong Un was somebody who didn't stay in the country. So he went out there. He learned from every other place. He liked to go to Disneyland, or was it Disney World? It was Disney something.
So he's their diplomat, more or less.
The kind of, sort of, no. So he was there for personal reasons. He just wanted to see the world because, you know, it's basically isolation. And because he was out there seeing the world and because of how things are in that country, he was next in line. So imagine you're an isolationist country and the person who's about to be next in line for the throne is out here fraternizing with everybody else. What do you fear? He's gonna change everything. He's gonna open up the borders. He's gonna, you know, do all this and the third. And guess who that affects more, right? You would think, oh, it would benefit the people. They don't care about the people. They don't care about the people. Let me tell you something, bro. If you're sitting on his little council that he got over there, you rich, your family rich, but they ain't safe. Remember that. They ain't safe. They rich, but they ain't safe. So you don't got to worry about no food shortage or nothing because you fed. So imagine if somebody came in and was like, yeah, based on how y'all think, I'm not going to have y'all on my council. You already seen what it looks like for people who not on the council. So what did they do? They devised a plot to get these like two innocent girls to basically rub a chemical in his face at like one of the airports.
That's crazy.
And killed him. Offed him. And those girls thought it was just a prank show. That's how they tricked them. They thought they were getting paid to do a prank show. But it was a chemical that literally burns skin and everything. And now we end up with Kim Jong-un, a dude that looked like he never did a push-up a day in his life. Other than a push-up bra. I'm sorry. Don't attack me. Psych, you ain't going to never hear from this because you ain't got no internet over there. So but it's crazy how, again, I think it's still crazy that people like that kind of government exists. But who are we to say they shouldn't?
And then one other thing, like the citizens' lives there are, besides just like being threatened every day by like the military and stuff, they don't have any freedom. And like in the sense that like besides, you know, going around doing what you want to do, they don't have the internet that we have. They get what's allowed, if any. So like, you know, one of the never go to North Korea. So it's like whenever there's stuff going on in the world, the odds are they very likely have no idea because they are under a magnifying glass on what they're allowed to even have access to. So there's no learning about no ideas. There's no like, well, can we try this type of government? No, they got none of that. There's no wiggle room. You do what they tell you, or, you know, it's not going to end well for you.
That's just, all right. All right, let's go deep into the past again. Let's go deep into the past. Since we're talking about Kim Jong-un, let's stay in Asia for a second. Let's go with my boy Genghis Khan. As y'all know, he was one of, if not the best conqueror of all time. Okay, so let me just put in perspective just a couple facts for you. All right. Okay. Just a couple facts. Okay. Number one, he was so highly regarded that his birth was viewed as divine.
Okay.
Basically, he was Asian Jesus. Okay. Number two, he was married. He was supposed to be married at age 9 because back then they believed in that shit. His dad was killed by another clan by poison. He lived in poverty, and he murdered his half brother. Why did he murder his half brother? Because he wanted the spoils. He wanted the hunting spoils, so he ambushed his own brother.
Damn. That's crazy.
Oh my god. To put in perspective how big this was, and I want y'all to realize this. I want you guys to look up a map of Russia and just look at Russia, right? Just look at it. Look at the Asian part of Russia. So that means anywhere past India. I mean, not anywhere past India, anywhere past Saudi Arabia, right? So European, you got the European side and you got the Asian side. That was Mongolia. All of Russia that you're seeing was because of this man, Genghis Khan. Imagine one person was the reason for all of that. They said literally Genghis Khan's empire, by the time of his death, covered 4,600,000 square miles. And then after that, it doubled. But what made it worse is that basically Genghis Khan basically not only ruled Asia, but ruled it with an iron fist. Which means if he didn't like you, if you was taller than him or anything like that, he killed you. And he took your wife. Right? When you sometimes see in evolution why certain nations are smaller when it comes to like average height, average weight, that kind of thing. Average weight varies on food, but average height is genetic. So when you see like Asia being the average height being shorter, you guys can thank Genghis Khan for that, because he literally killed people who were taller than him.
What do they call that? Little man syndrome?
Basically, Napoleon had it. He committed multiple genocides. He's actually apparently responsible for an estimated 40 million deaths. 40 million. And guess what that means? That means the world at the time, 13th century, he killed 11% of the world. This ain't bombs. This ain't
swords,
nuclear.
arrows.
This is swords, arrows, and spears. What? Oh man. But the reason why is because he had basically like a mindset of course, like anybody I rule over is going to prosper. So if you believe, let's say for Asia, you believed in Buddha, and in Europe and Middle East, you believed in Jesus, and so on and so forth. He didn't care. You could practice Christianity, Buddhism, Taoism, Hinduism, all that. He didn't care. As long as you just followed him and his rules. And Lord knows how many kids he had, because his harem was ridiculous. But again, just imagine somebody being responsible for the death of 11% of the world. Of the world, Craig! I don't think y'all understand like how big that is, though. Like I don't think y'all understand how big that is. That's what I'm saying. Like it is ridiculous that this man did that in just that amount of time. So that's that. Yeah. Go ahead, Jared.
So now I'm gonna bounce over to Mr. Vladimir Putin, which we are all very familiar with. As you know, he is a dictator. But fun fact, before he became the leader, he was actually head of the Security Council in Russia. So before that happened, this man already had, a couple close ties. And once he seized power, Putin. Once he seized power, he moved really swift. So basically, Russia was divided up into like republics and districts. So one of the first things he did was remove the power of the regional governors for each of those, and then solidify that under himself. So already, he just slashed the power dynamic and division of what can be controlled easily by just removing and putting under himself. And then on top of that, that's when he started digging into going after the media and other more powerful people that didn't like him. So a lot of the news stations who, you could say maybe they were free press or just opposed to him in general, they got shut down. You could say it said, nah, the only news that's going to be going out is the news I want. And if he still fought back, well, as we know, Putin is known for executing anyone who was standing against him. A lot of his political opponents that would run, all of a sudden, he has radiation sickness. What do you mean? What happened to him? Well, Putin has assassins, as well as a secret police that would roll up and take people out. What's up? How you doing? So at this point, as we all know, especially with Russia and Ukraine regarding the whole conflict, the whole thing is he wants to reestablish the USSR, as we know. Once that collapsed, Russia lost a lot of power, but Ukraine is one of the strategic points that he needs. So more or less, if you go for a war standpoint, right, Ukraine is literally right next door, right? So technically, or I guess actually, NATO would be an enemy to Russia. So if Ukraine fully commits and joins, your enemies now literally have their foot on your doorstep, which means if a full-on World War III breaks out, it's not good for you. So at this point, that's why he's really pushing for it.
My thing is though, like we all know Russia, even though they have the biggest country square feet wise, they just want more. like that's all it is. All right, let's go. So let's say you take Ukraine, right? Doesn't that mean NATO is still right there at your doorstep? Because now you just expanded around NATO countries.
True, but at the same time, you would rather have, like, I'm trying to think of it sort of like a ledge.
I get you. I get you.
You know what I mean?
It's a barrier. Like,
right.
You don't give a fuck about Ukraine. You're just gonna use that as like a barrier to stash shit. Like that's your chair where you throw all your clothes and shit. Like, I get that.
Actually, yeah, it's a great analogy.
You know what I'm saying? I get that. My thing is though, if that's the case, you are currently losing a lot of resources just to get that chair. It's just like if somebody told you, right, hey, you need this chair and it holds about 30 items of clothing, but I'll trade you 50 items of clothing for it. You ain't getting that value out of it. You know what I'm saying? Now, I think you're right in regards to Putin just being like, motherfucker, don't join NATO. Like, but then what's gonna be his excuse next time? You looked at me funny? You know what I'm saying? Hey, remember them bombs you dropped on me in 2024 with them US missiles? Motherfucker, I remember, and it's now 2030. Right? All that. You know what I'm saying? It's stuff like that. You just gotta think that Russia, nothing is stopping Russia from doing what it wants to do. You understand me? So they're just gonna find he himself is gonna find an excuse to do whatever he wants. Right? So that's just how I view it. It's the same as every conqueror in this fucking world. The people are going to suffer because the world leader sucks. I still say every world leader has a problem with another world leader, box it out. And if you want to, and if you don't want that to happen, they're too old, pick a fit leader then. Pick a well-bodied motherfucker, not no damn 70, 80, 90-year-old. God damn it. That's all I'm saying. So, should I keep it with the same Vlad? Since you went Vlad, I'm gonna keep it Vlad.
Vlad for Vlad.
All right, then we're going Vlad for Vlad. All right, let's get it. So this guy is actually who Dracula was named after. If y'all don't know, it's a Vlad the Impaler. Right, his name is Dracul. Right, so the thing about Vlad the Impaler is he was literally named after his method of torture. As y'all don't know, he literally impaled you. There's nothing behind it. But I could read to you as to how he was the inspiration. So it is believed that Stoker, who's the person who came up with the story of Dracula, based it on Dracula on Vlad the Impaler because Dracul being the name. There's no concrete evidence besides the fact of Vlad's infamous bloodthirstiness. So to put in perspective what Vlad did, you stole a loaf of bread, impaled. You made your little sister cry, impaled. You looked at somebody funny, impaled. Your cat ate the wrong mouse, impaled. Everybody got impaled. Right? Just to read off the facts, by 1462, he succeeded to the throne and was at war with the Ottomans, with enemy forces 3 times his own size. And so he ordered his men to poison wells, no more drinking water for you, and burn crops. So no eating for you. Right? So his method was like, I'm going to starve and thirst you guys to death since y'all want to act so big. Because that's the issue when it comes to big armies. You got to feed them. So if you take over my land, guess what? You ain't got shit. Literally. And I don't know if y'all ever seen the anime Drifters. Shout out to Drifters, man. We still waiting on season 2 10 years later. God damn it. They did the same thing. They let the army push in and did it on purpose. And then put shit in their drinking water. And then rub shit in the soil. And put shit on their impalers. So no matter what, you was always going to get necrotic. You always, because you couldn't sustain your army anymore. You know what I'm saying? So it's ridiculous. So just to put it again, this guy was maniacal. He was evil, right? He would disembowel his victims, behead them, skin them, and boil them alive. Even though impaling was his most preferred. Okay. He would take a mud. Okay. So if y'all are thinking about impaled as in like Mortal Kombat, where you're laying down, like you're falling down and then it impales you through your back. No, it is not that way. If you are a man, that man puts you on a spike from your penis through your mouth. That's how you died. It wasn't no, oh no, my heart, my chest, on my back, on my front. No, he went through the vertical side of the body to let you know how fucked up this person was. And the worst part is, it will take hours to die that way. So you was just there. You was just there. You was just there. And they said one time he actually ate food in the middle of the bodies that he impaled. This man, it's bad. I'm just saying this, right? When you look back at history, bro, you had 3 to 4 kind of people, right? Special people, aka the incest, bloodthirsty, aka the demons, right? Cool people who didn't last more than a year because they got poisoned or overthrown, something like that. And lastly, the religious, the Crusades. So when you look at these people in the past, man, I think now we have more destructive capability in comparison,
Hmm.
but I don't think we're as evil. I don't think we're as evil as these motherfuckers. Because my last person is somebody you guys heard about in like every type of scary story, but we're gonna go based off Jared. Jared, who's your next? Who's your next?
We're gonna talk about in Netanyahu. In Netanyahu, Jesus, Israel. Netanyahu. Benjamin and not in Netanyahu. Yahoo. So as we know, we currently have the the Israel-Palestine conflict, which is, more or less based off religious conflicts. But that shit has been going on for a long ass time. But at this point, it's reached a boiling point. So before, the big thing that really set us off was when Hamas, as we all know, launched the massive missile attack into Israel, and that was when it really put their whole conflict on everybody's map. But it's been going on well before that. But right now, it's come down to religious, like, whose land is it really? Who has the original claim to it based on their religion? So at this point, Israel wants all of it. They don't care who they have to push out. They don't who they have to kill. They want all the land. Now, obviously, it's occupied by the Palestinians, and they're like, no, we are living here. So now, as we know, it's a humanitarian crisis because water, electricity, other resources are being controlled by Israel. People in there are, suffering, barely trying to survive. And it's basically Israel going back and forth with Hamas, which is the extremist group that's within Palestine. So at this point, we have no idea where it is going to end up because it's honestly just ridiculously complicated. But there are a lot of Israelites who currently are pushing back against Mr. Benjamin because they believe at this point it's gone too far. But he is not someone who's going to back down. What you had in sound effects now? What? But I don't know why he did that.
Go ahead.
I mean, at this point, he's not going to back down. He's not someone. He's the type of leader, just like Putin or Kim Jong-un. He's not the type who's going to back up and say, "Hey, I was wrong. Maybe we should go about negotiating this." It's not going to happen. So at this point, it would depend on if we are going to pull our support or not, which we're not.
We're not. Yeah.
But
Israel is literally the biggest, I think, the most dependent on U.S. aid ever. Because if we're being honest, America hates to deny this, but we're found on Christian morals and blah, 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 right? So the last thing America tends to want to do is be an enemy of the promised land people. So remember that. If y'all don't know why we help Israel so much, that's why. I'm sorry, I had to hit you with the gas. I just saw it as a thing. Oh man, when you say he's not gonna just sit back and I'm like, oh man. So say that name again.
In Netanyahu, Benjamin and Netanyahu. I think I'm saying it right.
So his parents was like Benjamin, and then it was like, what's his last name be? About to go on Yahoo. Like, that's crazy, bro. That's crazy, man. I don't know. Y'all parents be different. That's all I gotta say, bro. You know what's the funny part? Just the funny part. You don't actually need any of your parents' last name. Like you could be in Yamamumu, and then the mom could be Samantha Smith, and then you could just be like that motherfucker named Terrell Johnson. Like you could do that legally. Like there's nothing to stop you from giving your whole kid a whole new last name and them starting their own lineage. That's crazy.
That is true. You're not wrong.
Oh man. But yeah, so my last person, y'all know it. Y'all always say her name sometimes. Is Bloody motherfucking Mary.
Hmm.
And for those who don't know, she was a real person. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Okay. So if y'all don't know about the famous King Henry family, right? So if y'all don't know, you've probably learned in school about that guy who wanted to divorce. It's a king who wanted to divorce his wife because she wasn't giving him a son, and he had to go through the Catholic Church. Catholic Church was like, yeah, no, that's not. We don't do that. So then he was like, bet, fuck you, and then split off from the church, divorced her anyway, and then ended up basically like divorcing and hanging his wives basically with the guillotine and stuff because again he didn't notice. I guess people back then didn't notice the man determines the sex of the baby, not the woman. So it was just him firing the wrong rounds, if you get what I'm saying. So this is also in relation to the current family, the current British family. This is their family. So basically, King Henry went about, kept getting girls pregnant, and just kept having daughters, and then eventually he had a son who ruled until he was like 13, and then he was gone, and then in comes a Mary. So the reason why they called her Bloody Mary is because Mary was straight up Catholic, and around the time you had the Lutherans. You had Martin Luther doing the thing in the church. You basically had Christians, right? So Christians were basically like, don't listen to the Catholic Church. You aren't going to hell automatically. This, that, and the third. Like, it's like basically today's Christian, where it's like live life through God, don't live life for God, right? So Mary was like, no, y'all gonna follow my way. So basically, if you weren't Catholic, you were killed. It didn't matter what you was. It didn't matter if you was an aunt, uncle, baby. If you weren't baptized, if you're gone.
Damn.
Gone. Right? That's why they called her Bloody Mary. And they hated her, bro. And a big part of why that happened has to do with her father. Because remember, her father split from the church, right? And basically did what he wanted. So even though Mary technically should have been next in line for the throne, he split from the church and was like, bet, like I'm doing my own thing. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it was Bloody Mary that was the reason why the Pilgrims came, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, to escape religious persecution.
There you go. So technically speaking, we wouldn't have what we have today in America if it wasn't for Bloody Mary. At the same time, let me see. They said, okay, ready? So this is how she got the nickname posthumously. So they didn't call her that because again, you got killed if you called her Bloody Mary. Leading Protestants were imprisoned, and persecution of Protestants began under Marian regime. They called them Marians. So if y'all don't know, Marlayans. Shout out to Attack on Titan. Although this was by no means unusual, religious persecutions took place under all the Tudor monarchs. Mary had around 280 dissenters executed, normally by burning at the stake.
Damn! Oh, that's one of the worst ways to go. Good Lord.
Exactly. She gave them the opportunity to convert right up to execution. So basically, if you admitted that you was Catholic, if you was like, hey, convert to Catholicism and you'll live, you was fine. But everybody knows if you're converting just to not die, that's not really genuine. So I feel like the numbers are actually more skewed to like more than it is less. So basically, her sister took over, Queen Elizabeth, who was more forgiving. Right, this is where England started to basically be more open. So her sister came, Queen Elizabeth, the first, I believe, maybe the first or the second, and she was more loved. Everybody loved her, everything like that. And then so you basically called the Elizabethan era after that. And basically, like it was an Elizabethan, was it Palmesiest, made a book about her and martyrs, and then he popularized the idea of Bloody Mary.
Mm.
Ooh. And she was abandoned by her husband. So now I can see
Damn.
why she kind of dislike people. Ugh. Ugh. Yeah, oh my god. Yeah. So Elizabeth actually ended up reversing a lot of Mary's laws and shit.
Mm.
It's like, motherfucker, I'm Christian too. I understand y'all. Y'all good. You know what I'm saying? So but basically the whole everything that had to do with that famous Tudor family, between the hanging of the wives and the guillotine of the wives and the murders and everything, is between two of them. And there's only two of them. King Henry VII, I believe, and then Bloody Mary. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm looking at this old school picture, and I can see why people say if you say her name in the mirror, you'd be scared. Because I'm looking at this picture right now, and it's like, yo, that is clearly a girl who's on a murder spree, bro. I ain't gonna hold you.
She got that look.
She got that look. She looked like a Karen who got a Glock on her.
Let me see. Bloody Mary. Actually, can you share with the class?
Yeah, I can actually. All right, so hold on. Let me just do this right here. Share screen. So this is her face.
Should pop up. Hold on.
Hold on. I got you. Hold on. Wait. Why's it not showing up? Oh, there you go. Bam.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah. Yeah, not
Y'all see that, right? Like, you see that? Like, this is coincidentally Black Friday right there. When I talk about the Pilgrims, Thanksgiving. so yeah. And there's actually a show, I believe, on Netflix.
Yachty, stop messing around. Yachty.
It's called The Tudors. If y'all want to, I think it's called The Tudors or something like that. It's a pretty, like, their lineage is pretty it's pretty interesting. But again, she's one of the people that changed the format of the world just because she was a fucking psycho crazy bitch. Now I'm everybody we've gone over has just been fuck everybody else. I'm the most important person.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Right. The only person again that hasn't been that way was Tutankhamun, King Tut, and it's because his parents were siblings.
Mind.
Like it sucks that we're in a situation like that. So when you guys think about how the world works and why things are the way they are, always remember it was literally special people and demons who ruled this world. All right. Anytime there was good people in this world that ruled it, they were literally poisoned by their own peoples. Why? Because what's normally on a council is the higher ups of that country or state or whatever. And if you interfere with their plate, they're gonna come for you. Right? So, like, say, all right, right now, right? Everybody knows when you become president, you pick your cabinet, you pick your council, you pick all this, right? I bet you not one person picked somebody that makes under $100,000 a year.
Right.
So imagine, right? You're trying to be a good person and you're trying to fix the country and trying to do this and you're trying to do that. And you're like, hey, I want to raise people's, wages to 50,000 minimum. And, kind of reduce these billionaires, millionaires to like just to be able to have $1 billion. Everybody at that table gonna look at you like, motherfucker, you interfere with our food. You gotta go. You ain't gonna play ball. You gotta go. That's what you saw in every government throughout all of history. Whenever you had a good person in office,
Gone.
or thrown or anything like that. They got poisoned or assassinated literally almost a year later. It happens. Nothing we can do about it. So yeah, and as you guys see, we do have a new platform that we're using now to go through the podcast as well. It allows us more freedom. As you can see, we could put anything on here. We could decorate the background, as you guys saw before. We have a countdown and everything like that. So it's a lot better for us. And as the stream grows, as we get more guests and everything, you're gonna start seeing a lot more features. And then we'll see from there. But yeah, guys, just remember, bro, Putin ain't gonna do shit. All right, and nobody wants World War III, not even Russia.
That's true.
Like the reason why Trump, let me tell you what's gonna happen when Trump meets with Putin. Trump's gonna be like, "Hey, we'll let you just have whatever you took and just be done with it." Ukraine's gonna be like, "That's not fair. They invaded us first." Trump gonna be like, "Fuck you, I'm the president," and then that's gonna be it. And then there's gonna be a ceasefire. And then when it comes to this Israel shit, same thing. Israel, calm the fuck down. Palestine, sit the fuck down. And then gonna be like, "But why, Trump? This is our area." He'll be like, "Motherfucker, that ain't America shit. Just give us your oil." And then that's gonna be it. Like let's be honest, bro. Politics ain't really politics. Politics is about who got the most money. Let's be honest. So yeah. So with that being said, y'all, next week, we're going. Oh, next week is Thanksgiving. We are not on next week
because we're gonna be eating.
We're gonna be eating
good.
The week after, actually, this lines up pretty well. So after we getting our grub on and shit, the week after we are actually having a fitness based podcast with my boy Swaggy. He actually owns his own personal trainer fitness group, and he's going to be talking to us about the importance of health, what's going on, what to do, and if you want to have any, insight on how to get in shape or anything like that, tune into that show, and then I know he'll be glad to answer a couple questions. So don't be scared. You know what I'm saying? Don't be scared. I'm asking some questions. I'm fat as shit. So I know I can ask him some questions. You know what I'm saying? So, tune into that. Make sure, again, if you or your friends have missed the podcast, just know we're on Apple Podcasts and Spotify along with YouTube. So stay tuned for that as well. We go back up on Wednesday for those. And yeah, with that being said, you guys, we wish y'all the best. And don't forget to buy the merch. It is on my Twitch at the bottom with our faces on there. Like,
50,000 a pop.
Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. I am trying to make the stuff more affordable so you guys were able to buy them in multiple colors. And we left the podcast part out, so we don't want you to actually advertise the podcast. But we do want people to ask questions like, "Where'd you get that shirt?" Like, hey, now it's a conversation starter. So it kind of like keeps things more natural if we get an increase in traffic. So yeah, with that being said, you guys, we wish you guys nothing but the best, and we hope you guys have a very good Thanksgiving this weekend. And if you're not from the U.S., we hope you just have a very good weekend. Peace.